Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored. All right. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only call-in show on somewhere. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all of the new updates with the event happening around the world, and we're also going to be talking about what is happening locally. I got footage of the local ports, and I will either dispel or confirm that our ports are, in fact, empty. Right after this, we'll be right back. Uncensored, only rip it absurd. 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 All right, what is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show, and the number is actually going to be scrolling down below. It is 224400 Marf. I am Adam, aka Marf, and then this is, of course, Marfoogle News. We also have two channels over on YouTube if you've never seen them before. 152,000 subscribers on the main channel, which is Marfoogle News, and then 108,000 now over on Marfoogle TV. So between those two channels, over 260,000 people. On top of that, we have, of course, our DLive community, which is growing very quickly. We just surpassed 12,000 followers here on DLive, which is absolutely amazing considering we've been here about 3 months. So, again, I have completely grabbed onto this platform because it is amazing as far as... Yes. Here we can actually say what we like. This show will be ported over, so that is going to make a slight difference. But we are actually going to start a whole kind of exclusive series, and then we are doing a bunch of changes. I'm going to get Dex in here. Dex is my co-host. He is actually going to be able to show what the callers are actually giving us, and of course we're going to go over all of the top headlines. The thing is we don't just say something without backing it up. In fact, if you go to our website, which is marfooglenews.com, you will actually see that it's organized by thumbnail. So when you go to this thumbnail, you will see that it actually has all of the articles that we have here today. So you can actually follow along at home on a second device and read every single article that we have, see where it came from, and of course, go for yourself. Now, first off, I'm gonna grab Dex, and then I'm gonna talk about what I saw when I physically went 2 days investigating at the Port of Seattle, both on Friday and Saturday. So let me pull that in. Dex, are you there? Can we get a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
Okay, good. I'm glad I did a sound check. You were super loud. You probably blew some Samsungs away. Okay, so let's see here. Dex, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on. What is your opinion about the last couple days? We, of course, have been off for 3 days.
Yeah, everything just keeps escalating. We're seeing things from, politicians that are in quarantine. We're seeing, obviously, changes across other countries that started with their upscaling of the coronavirus in their country, like Italy. And, is that sort of foreshadowing what's going to happen here? We've seen things like National Guard rolling out in different places. So yeah, there's a lot happening right now, and everything just continues to ramp up. Market took a tank on Monday, recovered a little bit today, but it's not enough. I mean, it's obvious that this economy is going to be hurt. It's obvious there's a lot going on in the market and in the to the nation right now as it relates to the CV.
What is funny is I see people react to this day by day, and I think we all need to just back off. To some people that, might call this, they say that I sensationalize. I don't. First of all, that's actually something that's kind of stuck with me since like one event, and I actually corrected that event. As far as I think that anybody on YouTube, out of all of the channels in my niche, I guess, the niche I've been put in, We actually do back our stuff up. We give a bibliography of where our information is coming from. That's why people do respect us. But one person puts the doubt, the seed of doubt in the back of your head, and you see it in that perspective. I guess if somebody puts that perspective in your brain, you're going to see it that way. And I think that's really lame. But again, there's not many channels that take the time we do in being professional and making sure that we have our story straight. In fact, we make a correction every time we blatantly say something is just completely wrong. It's been, I can't even remember the last time we did it, because we make sure beforehand that it is correct before we put it out, along with our alerts and everything else, all the systems that we're building right now, the app we're building, everything that we're doing right now is actually for the good of our community and everything else. So as far as like this, I'm not here to scare people. I'm here to tell people the reality. And unfortunately, the reality is that, say, Washington, where I am, now I know my best friend lost one of his coworkers, and we can't talk about it too much yet. I'm sure that it's going to eventually come out. He told me not to say something about this, but again, this is my best friend since 3rd grade, and he lost somebody that was actually very special to him and his company. The company that they work for did an amazing job handling it. Some of his coworkers went off into quarantine. This is a story that you'll hear over and over again. That's about as much as I can say, but I will say this. When it does eventually come out, you'll see that company did just the most amazing job with what they did and supporting the family of the gentleman who is no longer with us. Another thing that we are hearing, and this is pretty crazy. This is something that I will say a disclaimer about. Someone called me that I've trusted for now 2 years. It's somebody I know very, very well inside and out. And this person basically told me that their friend is a radiologist and that they basically had some issues with what was going on. And they were taking x-rays of pneumonia patients, and essentially she said that it looked like there was almost glass nodules. So that's all I'm going to say about that. They said that basically that her opinion was that people were coming in with essentially those symptoms and then being sent back out to the lobby with all of the other general patients. So it's almost like I'm not going to say anymore. Yeah, this is literally, I'm going to talk about it later and we'll do an alert and I'll tell you as much as I can about that. But again, it's a story. If you are in the medical field, the thing is this woman will not or does not yet want to stand for it. You will get blackballed from the medical establishment. If you complain about one establishment, basically, they can't do it publicly, but it will be a lot harder for you to get a job. I think that some of these medical field workers need to stand up and basically say what they feel. And I feel like they need to tell us what's really going on and tell us kind of what they've been told. Once you hear that, you're going to realize how serious this is. Now, I'm in Washington. I'm in the hot zone. We are about to crack down on some stuff. It is about to get crazy. First, I'm going to do my disclaimer. Obviously, we take calls and everybody is welcome to call in. So we, of course, want to make sure nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone who helps the show, including my amazing mods. And of course, you should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to go through some of the news. I am going to show you first off the video of the port. One thing that was unfortunate in this, I'll tell you, was that there was a strict zone as far as flying and where you could fly. And the main map said that I could fly there. Once I tried to go further, it said that there was a zone, and it wasn't even on the DJI Fly Safe map. But when the actual drone went there, it stopped it. I wasn't trying to fly above ports. In fact, I was flying above water. I was flying above industrial empty areas, and it still wouldn't let me on that. I didn't want to go over the ports, obviously, because they'll but this is some of the video I took. For some reason, it was in 24 frames, so it kind of is a little bit choppy, but you'll see what I'm talking about. In fact, the original video is absolutely amazing. But this was over West Seattle. I went 2 days in a row to see what I could find out. There is indeed, there are containers in the, I guess, what would you say, never east, in the west port. And you can tell where they're from. You do not see the normal brands that you would see. The port was running on Friday at, there was trucks and everything, but you'll see this was from about 3 p.m. on Friday. And I don't know if it's just this port or what. This is the Matson port. You can see that this is pretty freaking low. And then Saturday night, of course, it was almost completely empty. I took pictures and did a whole collage of that. But again, somebody said, well, the operating hours are Monday through Friday or whatever. And that's worse, because if you think about it, all those containers are not going out. They're not shipping out. That means that there should be more piled up. Just my opinion. You guys, if you're an expert, everybody is an expert nowadays. You can feel free to leave your opinion about this. I will say this. I'm going to pause this here. This was a lenticular cloud that was above Mount Rainier, and it says like almost every time I do footage, there's just some sort of ominous thing. I mean, this literally looked like some sort of atomic bomb over Mount Rainier. It's just weird. But yes, so as far as that, since I don't work there every day, I don't know if that's empty. But what I wanted to show you guys, and this is very serious, is that there are thousands of people saying that LA and Long Beach ports cargo are actually empty. Or close to empty. So I'm gonna read you this real quick and show you exactly what I mean. It says, on a bright morning early this week, Eugene Sirocco, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, gazed through the big picture window of his office at a sprawling docks below, where he would normally see as many as a dozen ships in the harbor with giant cranes hoisting one container of goods after another. Just 4 had docked. He says it's very quiet, and it says the nation's largest port is hurting. That may be a leading indicator of the pain that is in store for Southern California and the U.S. economy as businesses hunker down to deal with the rapidly expanding CV. It says many American companies had bulked up inventories last year in advance of the T-Man administration's steep tariffs on the Chinese imports and have plenty of goods on hand, but they could soon face serious consequences of the virus. It says a dearth of crucial parts for American factories, shortage of consumer products on store shelves, and less demand for U.S. exports. Now, one of the things that we, of course, are dependent on them is antibiotics. I don't think that a lot of Americans realized how dependent we were for that. Dex, what was the numbers on that? It was a certain percentage. It was absolutely astronomical.
Yeah, it's like 94%. And it's not just that all of the drugs, but sometimes certain parts of the drugs, certain ingredients that are necessary for it are coming from China. And without them, the drug doesn't work.
And now, you're feeling the hurt everywhere. We're seeing Canon just shut down 5 factories, so they might be putting off camera releases. I mean, it's like every facet, no matter what group you're in, you're seeing effects on this. So this is an entire global affecting event. It doesn't matter what your opinion about it is. We're seeing the facts. The facts are that things are changing. People are panicking. People are buying everything they possibly can. There's no toilet paper, sanitizer, everything else, which, by the way, I do want to explain. If you look back at the reason why the toilet paper thing started, apparently was all because of in Japan, somebody went to one store and they were out of toilet paper, posted it, and it went viral. Now, this is what I've heard is actually kind of why everybody was going nuts over toilet paper, is because somebody said they're out of toilet paper because of this, and then it just spread like wildfire and everybody went and got toilet paper. That's how this can turn into a negative thing super quick, and it did. Now everybody's grabbing 4 years of toilet paper like we need that. It's just the dumbest thing ever. Out of all the things you should be buying, that isn't something that, I just didn't get it. Now I kind of do. It's all from the internet. It's all from going viral off of something like that. Then, of course, the sanitizer. Once sanitizer ran out, they went for the alcohol isopropyl. Grabbing 40 bottles of alcohol isopropyl is not ever going to be used, is actually just straight up rude. So if you did that, it's not, no offense to you. We all, make stupid decisions when we're panicking, but honestly, you do not or will not ever use that much. Now, after that, they went for hydrogen peroxide. Then they went for home cleaning agents. Even the empty bottles where people can make their own cleaner are now all gone. So you can see kind of down the ladder of the things that are getting bought up. And this is only going to get worse. And I'll tell you why. I'm not trying to scare you guys. Italy is completely locked down. We're going to talk about that. It was 16 million people. Now the entire country. Holy moly, that was loud. Something, maybe lightning. The entire nation was absolutely locked down. So now the entire country is off limits. So this is a huge deal. So that's why I say, their today is our tomorrow. They have already said that we do not have the tests available. I'm going to read you that in just a second. It says, CV, Washington State considers crackdown to limit diseases spread. Should California follow suit? So, first off, my state is going to take harder precautions. Very soon, we will see at least most of the schools shut down, and then they are going to limit our travel as far as going anywhere or doing this. This, I foresee, we actually have somebody who was at King County for 35 years. They just said that they got a call and they said, hey, you need to have your supplies. It's going to be a general lockdown. So it's not, people aren't going to start, I guess the world's not over in here, but I foresee in the next week and a half that we are going to be locked down. If I'm wrong, great. Absolutely wonderful. And then California, it looks like they may too. New York would probably be number 3. The thing is we were the first to have it, so therefore we are getting all of this. It's pretty crazy how things are going, but not as many people were tested for this as they should have. It says Italy has put in place an unprecedented lockdown of its population, banning most travel in a bid to stem the spread of a deadly CV. And the the governor of Washington State has said that he's considering mandatory measures to enforce social distancing practices to limit interactions between people in a state that has recorded more deaths from the virus than any other. It says, but so far, California has avoided anything similar, despite confirming at least 109 CV cases and 2 perished. It says state officials are suggesting that the elderly or people with chronic medical conditions take precautions and, quote, stay home as much as possible. Now, I keep hearing people say that it's only old people and you don't have to worry about this. My friend's coworker, early 40s, big, strong guy. That's all I'm going to say. They're using the averages of the numbers that we did receive from a CDC. If you guys know what I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know I completely debunked that. As far as those numbers, we can't trust. So you're adding this in. If you take the numbers from all of the other countries minus the one that starts with C, then you get an entirely different picture. Not to mention, some of the people that have passed did not get tested because they physically didn't have the test, and I'll prove it to you with documentation. So again, I don't get this whole old people, oh, it's fine. And why do people not care that, somebody 50, 60, 70 is dying? They're still human beings. I don't get that. So even if that was true, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Never will, never going to. And then, of course, if you guys haven't joined our Discord, we are over 13,000 members in our Discord, broken up into state groups. We actually have people physically meet once a week, twice a week, even once monthly. Right now, those are on pause. I know that there's a couple groups that have decided to do it anyways because they're in states that don't have cases yet. My recommendation is just to do online Skype meetings or use the voice groups that are already available just for now until we find out more and, more things come clear. Soon we might not have the option. So I would definitely get on Skype and meet with your locals. Some meetings have been over 100 people. I mean, this is 100 people meeting up and actually organizing. It's absolutely amazing. I never thought in a million years that this would be under our Discord. So, and then we have the Creators Corner. We're amassing tons of creators, and we're going to be doing several events, including over on DLive with them. So we're actually waiting on some stuff to come through for that. And then we have an exclusive military channel for former and current military. This is a big deal because there's over 400 active and retired military folks as we speak in that group. Now, these guys are the creme de la creme. Actually, there's women too. I don't mean to say guys. And these guys are the ones that are feeding us everything. And it is absolutely unbelievable, the stuff that we're not being told. So I'll just say that much. And then if you want to go there, go to marfooglenews.com. And then, of course, you can sign up for Discord and alerts up at the top. Those alerts are extremely important. If we got heads up, if anything was going to hit the fan, we would let you know through there. We send any of our newsletters, any of that kind of stuff through our alerts. So make sure to sign up for that. That list is growing very rapidly. If we ever get knocked off, boom, there you go. Seattle area nursing home unable to test workers with CV symptoms. It says that the Seattle area nursing home at the epicenter of the U.S. CV outbreak said on Monday it had no kits to test 65 employees showing symptoms of the V that has killed at least 13 patients at the long-term care center. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. We don't have the tests. It says Seattle's patient zero spread corona despite Ebola-style lockdown. Remember that first patient zero, the one that landed first, was a younger man, and he was actually being treated with robots. They literally took him into a room. I mean, he was completely sealed off. I think they had only 4 credentialed, completely hazmated people that ever went in there. There was 12 people that were working behind the scenes. They were serving this guy with robots, and it still spread. So unbelievable stuff. That's probably why people don't believe it. So again, this ended up doing it. It says the man who would become patient zero for the new CV outbreak in the U.S. appeared to do everything right. He arrived January 19th at an urgent care clinic in suburb north of Seattle with a slightly elevated temperature and a cough he developed soon after returning 4 days earlier from a visit with his family in Wuhan, China. It says the 35-year-old has seen a U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention alert about the virus and decided to go get checked. He put on a mask in the waiting room. After learning about his travel, the clinic drew blood and took nasal and throat swabs and called state and county health officials who hustled the sample onto an overnight flight to the CDC lab in Atlanta. The patient was told to stay in isolation at home. And health officials checked on him the next morning. Test came back positive that afternoon. The first confirmed case in the U.S. by 11 p.m., the patient was in a plastic enclosed isolation gurney and on his way to a biocontainment ward at Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett. Now remember, I went there in person. I got drone footage. I, of course, got footage of the hospital, people walking in left and right with masks. And that time was because I believe most of the panic, that was when it first popped up. A lot of people, any kind of cough, they thought they had it. What's crazy to me is this guy said, I traveled there, boom, got tested. They flew it overnight to this. That says to me that they kind of knew exactly how serious this was. But then again, people that have not, right? We've heard of other people saying, hey, can you test me for it? And they won't. And now I feel like it's because of the lack of tests. Now it says, John Hopkins doctor warns. So this is the numbers that everybody's quoting to me, that it's only old people. This is what's so funny. People say, oh, you're fear porn. Look at this. And then they quote John Hopkins. They quote their numbers, but they've been using Chinese Centers for Disease Control numbers, which unfortunately we can't exactly trust because of how their government works. It's nothing against them, just saying. And they ended up using those numbers to say it was a Business Insider, and the source was Chinese Centers for Disease Control, and it was saying that all the old people, it was all old people. And I said, don't use those numbers to call me fear porn and then, end up using their numbers to do it, right? This is from the same place, and they say warns what happened in Wuhan could happen here. So this is a big deal for him to even say that. They don't say these lightly. Makari said the immune system of a typical American is, quote, not stronger than the Chinese immune system, adding that viruses don't care about politics and they don't care about location. With 750 cases of CV, the airborne virus is quickly spreading across the U.S., now seen in more than 30 states, with officials in several states declaring a state of emergency, including mine. It says the lack of test kits, limited travel restrictions, and no V seen for 12 to 18 months suggests that the map below will get a lot redder in the coming weeks. So this is how they go, and it still says, gosh, it looks like there's not many states that don't have it, and Hawaii does have 2 cases apparently. Gosh, I thought Hawaii was safe. New York has a lot, but none of this. That kind of doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make any sense at all. Just really, really weird. And then 104 in just one. What's going on here? Something's gone. So, I don't understand why some of this. You'll find out later. I'm going to show you proof that I think I have an idea of why, these don't have more. All right. And then, of course, if you guys want to help support us in a different way, you can do it at the same time as doing something awesome. First off, EMP Shield is something that will actually protect and possibly save lives later down the road. This is an actual device used not only by the DoD, by Homeland Security, but now EMP Shield is officially on the DEMSO team protecting the Texas grid. Now, what this device does is it grounds the signal from an EMP, all 3 phases, E1, E2, or E3, and I actually can do it multiple times, from an EMP, and it will ground it before it fries your device. So obviously you can't put your entire house in a Faraday cage. That's where this comes in. This is how they are protecting themselves. Why are we not protecting ourselves? So we've worked with them for a long time. It's a veteran-owned business. It's 100% American-made. Not only does it block against multiple EMPs, and they've done this Keystone-tested, military-grade, it also blocks against corona mass ejection. Now, a lot of people have said, well, I can't get one. Well, here's your chance. There is a contest running right now with EMP Shield and the Foogle fam, and the winners choose up to 3 devices. That's what's so cool about this. Normally, the last big competition they did, or the contest, they only did 1 device. Now they're letting the winners, 3 winners, choose 3 devices. That's $1,000 value. There's multiple ways to enter and daily bonuses entries. Even if you don't go through us, I please say go around us. Don't put our name in. Get one of these, because eventually I've shown you the documentation. I've shown you NERC. I've shown you all of that. I've shown you archived. I've shown you that they haven't told us but about 1. And then there's the actual numbers of how many times our grids have been. So all I'm saying is this is something that is very smart. Go to marfooglenews.com/contest. And again, if you do want to end up getting it, you can get one for your car, your generator, your house, even your ham radio, and if you have a solar system, very important. If you have a bug out system with this, put it on there. Again, if you just want to go straight and get one, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Many ways to enter, marfooglenews.com/contest. Okay, and then Meadows self-quarantines after possible exposure to CV patient. This is pretty crazy. So, Dex, can you explain this one? I'm going to pull up the chat while you do. And of course, I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Let's see here. Let me see here.
Hey there, Adam. So this is really interesting. We're seeing more and more of these politicians that are having to go through self-quarantine because they've run into meeting with people or being exposed to people.
Shaking hands and kissing babies, right?
Exactly. And Mark Meadows, who's actually set to become, Trump's next acting chief of staff, is actually under self-quarantine at his home. We've seen other people like Doug Collins, Paul Gossier, Matt Gaetz, who you guys may have heard, he actually was mocking the CV by wearing a gas mask. And then, unfortunately, somebody in his constituency passed away like the next day from CV. So that was sort of bad on his part. And now he's under I don't want to say lockdown, but under his own self quarantining, I guess, or self quarantining and isolation. Also, I think Ted Cruz has said he's been in contact with somebody, so he's doing that as well. So it's a really, it's affecting everybody. It's not just affecting, it's not just picking on some people. It seems like it's going across the board. Now, I don't know that we've heard anyone in Congress yet outside of Congress workers, not actual congressmen and women, that has actually contracted it yet. But that's I would not be surprised if we don't see that soon. And not only that, look at Trump. I mean, he's sorry, I didn't mean to say his name. T-Man. Look, he's out, doing rallies and meeting with people, and him and any of the other politicians that are doing that, I mean, even the ones that are running on the other side. It's bound to happen at some point.
So another thing, and we're going to see a lot more of this. We're seeing big names that are supposedly self-containing, self-isolating. We're going to actually show you a couple more in the next couple days. I heard of one that is actually not public news yet, and it's nothing that is going to be an emergency that anybody knows. But I'm going to show you. Probably either tomorrow or the next day, they're going to release this information, and they're going to tell you about a very big name that has this. So mark my words, we're going to see a big name with CV, and you're going to be surprised. Dex, one thing I did do off on another stream is I changed the slow mode. People can't even keep up with it. Can you please turn up the slow mode a little bit? I only put it at 15 seconds.
I'll get it reset.
It was at 70 seconds, and of course with 3.5 thousand people watching, it's a little bit hard to keep up. Now, of course, I believe with the Marfia badge, you don't have to wait 70 seconds, which that's great, but now everybody has a Marfia badge, so I don't know if that hurts or helps. Thank you guys for the support. Susan Nanicus, thank you for the diamond. I appreciate that. Hillbilly, I see you. Queen Fisher RN, Crystal Virgo, JR Pale Horse, what is going on, man? Oliver Twist, haven't seen you in a minute. Ever Dazed, stay safe, everyone. Build up your immune systems. I agree. I think that, stuff like elderberry, natural things that can help your immune system is a great thing. Phil C, thank you so much. Little or big, thank you guys. I appreciate your support. Patty 1970, thank you for celebrating a 1 month sub streak. Now, of course, if you don't know what that is, that's essentially where you get the Marfia badge. After 3 months, you actually get a different color text, so it sticks out. Lady GT476, welcome back. Thank you for the diamond. You didn't even say anything. Queen Fisher RN, I appreciate that. Smoke Some, thank you. Space Monkey, thank you. Clan Mama, I'm hoping you're enjoying your break. And Staffo, Rusty Bumper, Rebel Yell, got all sorts of folks in here. And then Mini 70, I did not miss you. I appreciate you supporting. And Pat Leading Fox and the Riot 72. Thank you guys, all three of you. And I'll try to get the next one if you do that. Jay Winch and Darlene Awake, also number 4 and 5 top contributors of the stream. All right, and then let's see. I just want to shout out to Richie the Fam as well. I appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. And that Chowky Gal. It's hard to read your name. That Chowky Gal. Got it. All right, next. So this is pretty crazy. It says, Secret Service faces unique challenge of protecting T-Man from the CV exposure. Air Force One touched down near Orlando, Florida on Monday, and President DT disembarked, shaking hands with local politicians on the tarmac before heading directly to a rope line where he grasped the outstretched hands of supporters. It was a routine photo op, but one that has some former Secret Service agents flagging us as unsafe and worth scaling back or ending entirely amid the threat of highly contagious CV. Here's the opinion of some, and the opinion of some is that this was done as some sort of event to try to stop him from getting his rallies together. If you think about it, it's hard for him to say, hey, don't go near anybody, don't have any kind of large events, and then have large events. The thing is the rallies in his last election term were a huge part of his poll. I mean, he got out there and he drew the numbers, like crazy numbers. Unlike some of the others, like even, Bernie had some big numbers. But T-Man, that dude brought in some huge numbers. People came out of the woodworks to go to his rallies. This time around, if this is true, that, all of these big events are getting canceled, how is this going to fare in this whole thing? But then again, you look at the competition, you look at people like Bernie or, Biden, who knows? It's funny, the same people that say that the thing is rigged, they're the same people saying that they're doing this to screw over his rally. If it's rigged, then he doesn't need a rally, right? I don't know. I think it's funny that there's some people that go back and forth on that. And I'm thinking, if the system is rigged, then why does it matter? Then that would be kind of contradictory. Jay Stone, thank you for being here. All the mods that are here, and if I miss one, CJ Blaze, LCJC, any of you guys, West Virginia, Bones, Miss Marv, my wife is in the chat. Make sure to be very nice. Faber Sr., Lost Wander. All right. So as far as this goes, what do you guys think? Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. And again, we only have 2 lines left. So if you want to get in a call, you got to get it in now. And then this is Italy expands quarantine throughout country as CV cases surge. It says first 2 CV perished recorded in Germany. So now, of course, we have those in Germany. Italy reports 1,797 new cases, bringing the total up to 9,172 as deaths increased by 27% overnight. Now, remember that the parish number went up by 27% overnight. Sorry, I was starting to sound like Prayer Marshal Bill. Santa Clara reports second perished. 3 more perished confirmed in Washington State, of course, locally. And one of those is actually never mind. One of those is actually somebody that we know. LA reports first case of community spread. De Blasio says NYC lockdown is a possibility. Now that's after us. The thing is we, I believe, are definitely going to get it. And this shouldn't scare anybody. This shouldn't make anyone fearful anywhere else in the country. But if you're in Washington, I would highly recommend getting your things straight, having a plan. So people are saying, we should go up to our cabin, right? Well, the thing about our cabin is we have no connection to the outside world when we go up there. And if we did go up there, then we're kind of like, stuck out there. In fact, we got to take snowmobiles and stuff to do it. So it's like, it's actually been quite a decision to figure out when and where and everything. So I do appreciate that all of you guys are looking to each other and we're all trying to figure this out together. I think it's really important that we stay calm. I don't think we should at all ever panic. I don't think it's logical, period. I think prepping is logical. I don't think it's scary to prep. I think that it is one of the smartest things to do. Let me just put it this way real quick. What does the military do on a daily or weekly basis? They drill for events that are unlikely. They have contingency plans for absolutely everything. Now, why are they not made fun of for doing contingency plans? So why are we? Why are the American people or whatever country you're in, if you are a prepper or you prepare or you get stuff for something that is unlikely, it is in the cultures to make you feel like you're an outsider. Here at Marfoogle News, This is a community that does not look at you like that way. We do not think you're crazy. And we believe that everyone should have an opinion and we should all have a voice here. And if you believe something, then that's all I need. All I need to know is that you believe it and I will listen. So make sure you know that, and then bring the positivity. If somebody believes something other than what you believe, say, okay, well, here's my view on it. That's your view. Keep it at that. We don't have to fight. We don't have to go fisticuffs on somebody just because they don't believe the same thing we do. Now, LA reports first case, de Blasio is possibility. It says, WHO's Dr. Tedros says threat of P-demic has become very real. I mean, come on. Just freaking call it one. I mean, seriously. I mean, really? They say that it's in more than 2, countal regions or whatever. It's in like 40. Call it already. That's like if somebody was like having crows pick at him and going, well, I don't know if we should declare him dead yet. It's only been 9 days with no heartbeat. Confirmed cases near pass 1,000 in France, Germany, and Spain. This is, again, Italy is locked down. U.S. perished hits 22. Canada reports first perished in British Columbia. Germany state of Brandenburg has between 4,000 and 5,000 in home isolation. One thing, too, I did see that the original woman who said, I'm in Vancouver Island and basically, no, everything's calm here. This was the first Saturday where we declared emergency, which again, back then, it was like, that was real for me. So she said, oh, well, we don't feed into the fear. I did see your message saying, I want to make sure that, I want to get the record straight and I didn't want to make it sound like that. No offense taken. Thank you for clarifying. But again, the biggest mistake is thinking that your town or your city is different, that because you don't have one now and everybody's not feeding into the panic, right, that they won't when you get your first case. Now, British Columbia actually does have its first not only case, but death. And once that happens, people go into crazy mode. And I can show you. I mean, literally, there's nothing anywhere. I went into little tiny dollar stores. There's nothing anywhere. People, every smart idea I thought I had, somebody had it before me. So they don't have nothing anywhere as far as the stuff that you would want for this. It says Hungary stops flights to and from northern Italy. PM Johnson, or the Prime Minister Johnson, says UK won't close Parliament. And now remember, courts in U.S., I believe some of them closed. T-Man is to hold a White House meeting on fiscal stimulus, so something regarding money. And then Italian PM promises massive shock therapy to save economy from the CV. So every government is talking about saving their economy. This is like a global, possible collapse situation. This is our worst nightmare coming true. And again, no panic. We got to think logically here and come up with a plan, come up with contingency plans. And if each one of us does that, then we can at least be prepared for what's next. My goal is not to scare you. It is to prepare you. And again, we were saying this before mainstream was talking about it. Remember, when we first started telling you to prepare, mainstream was talking about the impeachment. Just saying. Were we not, Dex? No, that's a thing. They say, well, MSM is saying it, so it can't be true. MSM was totally going the opposite way, would not talk about this until it was too late. And then it was so much of an elephant in the room, all over the globe, people were talking about it. Then they covered it and nothing it, because they saw the money, they saw the views, they saw this, and they went for it. Is that not right? I mean, we were a week and a half.
We were in this early January, right out coming out of December. Nobody was talking about it, and we were saying, look, it's going to be heading this way. Get ready.
And the people that have watched, you guys are here every night. We're not here to scare you. We're telling you, we see the pattern. We have military. We have kind of what's going on in the country. We're just here to relay what you guys are saying. That's it. This is a community. This is an amazing show, not because of me. If I left, it would be the same because of you. You guys are what makes this channel go. The Dutch bank cancels 150-year anniversary celebrations. I don't know how big of a deal that is, but dozens of flights leave northern Italy despite the isolation, even as airlines cancel routes. Moody's says U.S. economy headed for recession. Well, Cuomo confirms 142 new cases in New York State, bringing total confirmed in NYC to 19. And then NY has started making its own sanitizer. That's right. It's using the ingredients to make its own. And then Columbia University cancels classes. Princeton moves lectures online. Princeton, the smart Ivy Leaguers. And 78 new public health labs open across U.S. Monday. Wow. Spain PM says he will have emergency plan to tackle outbreak. UK confirms another 45 cases. VP Pence will hold press conference at 5:30 Eastern Monday. And Amtrak shutters Acela corridor. Korean construction worker contracted by U.S. military tests positive. And then, of course, it says total numbers of cases jumped from 9,000, while deaths hit 463. Grand Princess docks in Oakland. So, O-Town people, watch out. Another cruise ship disaster might be shaping up in Florida. It's just like, this is just going... It's a rolling stone, and it's gathering moss. T-Man congratulates VP Pence via tweet. New cases in South K drop as Philippines case total doubles. UCO president says conference call will be held to coordinate EU response. Germany and France. Fimmons holds talks to discuss crisis. Missouri declares first, quote, presumptive positive Sunday night. Father of patient breaks the isolation. Dutch infections climb to 321. It says, so all of this stuff that is going on, it says, in a stunning announcement late Monday evening, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte revealed during an announcement from the Palazzo Chigi that he would be expanding Italy's strict quarantine travel restrictions to the entirety of the country. This isn't some third world country. This is Italy. This is Italy. This is Italy. If you've ever been there, I'm jealous. Not right so much now, but again, this is something that is incredible. This is not China. This is Italy. And they say, every expert, every person, and it doesn't matter if they're just totally blowing smoke, they've said everything that has happened before it happened in this case. This is one of the few times where they say, well, it's going to be a communal thing. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And then the next week we see, or they say, that has happened. So if they are saying that they're looking at mandatory lockdowns, if they're saying that they're looking at mandatory quarantines, then there will be mandatory quarantines. Washingtonians, Californians, New Yorkans. I don't know if that's what you call each other, but New Yorkers. It's a big deal. If you guys want to support us in a different way, Earthing is something that I have done for a year. It actually has changed my entire sleep schedule. I used to do this show at 2:30, 3 in the morning for East Coast people that were waking up because my sleep was so bad. Earthing is basically grounding. If you've never done it before, you should watch the movie. There's an actual documentary we got to screen before anybody else. In fact, we got it before it hit the red carpet. We had Muriel Hemingway, of course, Academy Award actress, on the show. And, of course, Clint Ober came on the show. It's got Deepak Chopra, Amy Smart, major ball players, all sorts of people. And it talks about the science behind it, the 25 medical studies behind it. And, of course, it supports the channel. Watch the movie first, and by the end of it, I promise you'll understand it. But essentially, we are made of electricity. Our brains are electricity. Our nervous system is electricity. Our hearts run on electricity. So that's why it is so important that we should be grounded. Once you see what it does, it's just absolutely amazing. Anything inflammation-based is something that this helps with. So arthritis or even digestive system stuff. It improves sleep, pain, stress, everything. Make sure to check it out. You can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing if you just want to straight up get one. What they have is mats like the bed mat that I use. I just go to sleep. It's underneath my sheet. I don't even think about it. And I wake up 8 hours later. It's like I could go to sleep. Actually, this is the crazy thing. My clock has gotten in line. Wake up at 8:30 every morning. People were like, how are you up at 4:30 and then up at 9? This is how. It was never like this. marfooglenews.com/earthing. Check it out. And then our next story. This is just getting absolutely crazy. Commander of U.S. Army exposed to CV, says the Pentagon. So far, the CV has yet to penetrate top Washington political and defense official ranks, some close calls notwithstanding, which would likely be devastating, as in the case of Ryan's government, which last week saw 10% of parliament infected. That was their parliament, their government. It says which last week hit that, and then congressional and administration and Pentagon staff tend to work in very close proximity. They're like shoulder to shoulder, like, hey, what's up, spy? Nothing much, spy. It's like one big episode of Spy vs. Spy. Not to mention that the average age of Congress members is around 60 years old. Maybe that's why this was made. But in a sign that top Pentagon ranks not just at home but across the globe risk exposure, the Army announced late in the day Monday the commander of the U.S. Army Europe has likely been exposed to CV and is now in self-quarantine. So the quote here is, the commander of the U.S. Army Europe, along with several staff members, may have been exposed to the CV during a recent conference, the Army said on Monday. This is the gentleman, his name is Cavoli. Lieutenant General Christopher Cavoli is now said to be self-isolating and monitoring his conditions. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll keep you totally updated. Again, this is the leader of our European army. Italy's CV lockdown upends the most basic routines and joys. Dex, do you want to explain this real quick? Actually, so...
Hey, Adam, I am here, and what would you like me to explain? I'm sorry.
Italy's CV lockdown upends the most basic routines, and then I'm obviously going to pull you in because you're a techie, so if you want to go ahead from this and transition into that.
Yeah, so, everything that's going on in Italy right now is really it's if you think about like what we saw happening in China, it's now happening there. It's like everybody's had a chance to see what's going to happen. And with Italy, you've got the lockdowns happening, so that the things that you would normally think about doing change. We talked to Megan's blog, and we heard how much her life had changed when she was in China. Like you could only go out certain days of the week. You could only go to the store certain times. You were being checked on the way in and out. Now, maybe it's a little more extreme in some countries where they have more authoritative control. But it's interesting to see how, like the elements in the city change, the way people interact with and what they do around the city change. So, in this example, something like Rome is completely empty, or it's just completely quiet. So real quick, Italy on Tuesday, it was a country in quiet emergency. Little chatter, few hugs, few cars, no sports, empty piazzas, vacated restaurants, and a deepening sense that weeks of social isolation was the only way to slow the CV. So, I mean, that's literally what you think about it. So we look at Rome and you're thinking of, restaurants on the sidewalks and hustle and bustle and people everywhere, sipping coffee and, touring around and, none of that. It's all gone. It's all stopped. And it's like a ghost town. Everybody is just like we saw in China, but we're seeing it here. Maybe not with the same authoritarian control.
But essentially this is it's kind of history repeating itself, and it's not too long ago that this happened. So we're seeing week by week. It's like we're transforming into that.
Exactly. And you can, and you would be foolish to think that it's not going to happen here, right? because it's sort of like a wave. It's moving across country to country, area to area, and where the outbreaks are happening, you see the same reaction, and you have to have that reaction. Otherwise, you're going to continue the outbreak. So you want to minimize it. So you're going to put those policies in place. And so that's what, we'd be foolish to think that we're not doing that. We're testing the least amount of any other country, yet we've probably got more cases per testing than other countries,
Now,
so
I'm actually going to hit that. I'm going to pull this up right now. I'm going to change the order.
We're probably really, high up on the list, or should be high up on the list. And we probably should be doing more than we're doing already today.
So, Dex, get into this. Only 5,000 Americans have been tested for CV so far. Now, when people say, oh, there's this many, there's so many people that, just like in that other country, that could have passed from something like pneumonia, which wasn't called this because they didn't have the test. Only 5,000 have been tested. We are the lowest. Remember, so we had this chart. I don't know if this has this. There was a chart we shared on Twitter that shows all of the world's countries and how many people they've tested. We were just like per million. We were the saddest thing. Like, it was like, why have we not tested more people considering the amount of spread? They say by next week, our local government is saying that we'll most likely have like 60,000 or 65,000 here that are cases. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to throw that chart in up next. So
okay, if you can grab that, I'm gonna read this real quick, and then I'm gonna end up telling them how to get notifications, and then I'll probably come back to you here in a minute. If you load that up and up next, I will get that. Despite vows to drastically expand CV testing, federal and state public health authorities have only tested 4,987 people for the CV as of Tuesday morning, according to the Centers for DC. And it says prevention numbers provided by all 50 states. That counts includes people tested by the federal government and by state laboratories, because those laboratories may not always report people who tested negative for the CV. The true number of people tested is probably somewhat higher. It says that number stands in stark contrast to the promise made by leading members of the T-Man administration's CV task force, who have variously asserted that 75,000 people would be tested by last week's end. And there's only 5,000 that have been tested. It says states would have the capacity to conduct 1.5 million tests by the beginning of this week. Now we are at Tuesday, and it's still at 5,000. There's just something there. I don't know. So I guess this is kind of crazy stuff that's going on. If you are missing notifications, we have taken what you guys have supported us with, and we've built an amazing website, which most of you guys know about. In fact, our website is taking off totally separate from our actual shows. We have so many people going to our website that we've had to upgrade our service like 3 times. So thank you. And thank you. Missing notifications, we actually have a service for that. You can go to the website. Notifications are now available. Works with most all browsers and Android. iOS is coming soon. Look for the prompt and click the bell in the bottom right corner. When you see this red bell, make sure to click it. It will say, would you like to subscribe? Otherwise, if you see the white box in the upper left-hand corner, it will say, Marfoogle News would like to send you notifications. Would you like to allow or block? That's up to you. Again, I normally block most things, but in this case, all it's going to be sending you is when we go live. A lot of you have complained about, hey, I got the notification a week later. Now you don't have to worry about that because we have our own. All right, and then Walmart deploys new emergency leave policy after Kentucky associate tests positive for the CV. Walmart said Tuesday it is deploying an emergency employee leave program as the retailer confirms one of its store associates in Cynthiana, Kentucky, has tested positive. So with this, obviously, these big corporations, when this happens, they take action or if they don't, they'll be, kind of put into the public eye. It says the infected employee is a woman, and Walmart said she is improving with medical care. The new policy comes as the CV spreads throughout many U.S. states where the retailer operates. Walmart is the nation's largest private employer with 1.5 million workers in the U.S., according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Look at this. Isn't that weird? Walmart is the nation's largest private employer with 1.5 million workers in the U.S., according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins. So why is Johns Hopkins, there's one case, but yet Johns Hopkins is working on seeing how many people at Walmart? I don't know. Just a little thing. Maybe they looked at all the different companies that are private employer. It says there are at least 761 cases of CV that have been diagnosed and at least 27 people who have perished in the U.S. from the V. So if you're working at Walmart, I would wear gloves and sanitize. Just saying. Especially, it's Walmart. I would, okay, let me step back. Let me rewind. If you're going to Walmart, period, wear gloves. CV or no CV, it's Walmart. Italy wakes up to deserted streets in unprecedented CV lockdown. So this is the main thing. So Italy woke up on its deserted streets in an unprecedented lockdown on Tuesday after the government extended quarantine measures across the entire country in a bid to slow Europe's worst outbreak of the CV. The measures announced late on Monday by Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte widen steps already taken in the rich northern region of Lombardy and parts of neighboring provinces, clamping down on movement and closing public spaces. Now, some of the richest people in the world live in this part of this, and it's pretty crazy. Especially, look at Milan. Milan is it's a fashion hub of the world. This is where some of your most famous designers live, eat, and breathe. And they are all on lockdown. So, this isn't a third world country that's getting shut down. This is Italy. So it says, the future of Italy is in our hands. Let us all do our part by giving up something for our collective good, Conte said in a tweet, encouraging people to take personal responsibility. For at least the next 3 weeks, people have been told to move around only for reasons of work, for health needs, or emergencies, or else stay at home. Anyone traveling will have to fill in a document declaring their reasons and carrying it with them. Just hypothetically, what if something like this was kicked in and never ended? Like if you ever had to travel anywhere. What if there was a scenario where you had to do that, period? Isn't that nuts? That's not going to happen, but if that did, I don't know if it's not going to happen, but if that ever happened for whatever reason, say somebody took over the world and, WW2 all over again in different circumstances, it would be weird. Just something crazy to think about. Large gatherings and outdoor events, including sports, have been banned, while bars and restaurants will have to close from 6 p.m., and it says schools and universities will remain closed until April 3rd. It says, quote, the whole of Italy is closed now, was the headline in the Corriere della Sera newspaper. So that's pretty crazy. No cars, no nothing. It looks just like what it did in China.
There's a couple of interesting quotes in here too, Adam. I'll hit them real quick. It looks like an apocalypse has struck. There is no one around, said Mario Manfrada, who runs a restaurant in Rome. And then another person says that it's actually a total disaster, and he believes that the lockdown is going to cause more people to perish as a result of the economic crisis it's going to cause than they would actually perish from the CV itself, which is an interesting perspective to take. And then, of course, the mayor, the governor of Lombardy said he would shut down all shops. Everything would be closed down, all public transportation, anything that could be closed down without excessively harming the economy.
This whole thing is like, this is, people say that this is like out of a movie. I don't know why I just talk like an Italian. Just out of a movie. It's out of a movie. It really is, though. And honestly, I think we should all stay positive. I think we should not panic. I think we should get our affairs in order. Hey, at, best case scenario, we sit at home with our families. And then here's the craziest part. So overloading. I don't know about you, Dex, but here our cell phones have completely logged off. Like there's been at least 5 or 6 periods here in Washington where our cell phones completely lost all service. Like not like no bars, but actually says it's not registered on a network. And I first thought something was going on. In fact, I don't know if some of you remember, after my show the other night, I popped into, I think it was Def Mike's chat, and I said, something major just happened. Or maybe it was Melissa Schumann. I popped into their chat. I said, something happened. Because it wasn't just my phone. My cell phones are separate from my wife's, and both had separate times where they went off. So I was like, what the heck is going on? But it makes sense. Everybody is at home, right? They're suggesting everybody work from home. There's actual documents out coming now. They're doing surveys on the thing. Internet and cell phone use is way, way overloaded. Everybody's on their cell phone. Everybody's using their hotspot. Everybody is working from home. So people are doing stuff that they would normally do on their business lines and on their business internet at their companies. They're doing that at home with their home internet, and that screws up everybody else. Again, this isn't something that we can really avoid, but here's the crazy part. So since all of that happened, this might turn into something where, hey, we're not on the phone and maybe we're playing board games with our family. Maybe we're actually spending time with the people in our house, right? Our 14-year-olds that only play Dead by Daylight 24/7. Maybe they might just play a board game. Who knows? Maybe this might be good for us.
Might be another baby boom.
Right? Maybe, yeah. Some Marvin Gaye. Where's our Marvin Gaye? Okay, Dex, if you want to hit it up, we're going to get the phones lined up. I'm going to hit the chat one more time. I'm going to hit my YouTube supporters. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Will you please explain Nord, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So NordVPN, it is one of the many tools you should have in your arsenal to protect yourself online from the cyber criminals, the bad guys. NordVPN, it puts your location in another location so that if the bad guys infiltrate you or get you to click on a bad link where they can find your IP address, you will not be susceptible to them coming after you. They'll actually see the VPN provider's IP address and they will try to attack that. And they'll have all their fun time doing that, not coming after your personal home, your personal computer, your personal phone. It's real simple to use. You install it on your device, you install it on your computer, and it's literally a light switch. You turn it on, you turn it off. I want to connect to the VPN. I don't want to connect to the VPN. It's so easy. My mom can use it. You should get a VPN. You should be using a VPN. It's not as difficult as you might think. If you're not using one, you should definitely have one and try it and get started on using a VPN on a regular basis. There's a lot of other benefits from a VPN. It can secure your connection so that people can't sniff out the traffic that you're on a Wi-Fi if they're infiltrated that or you're in a public Wi-Fi. We have a great deal with Nord set up. So if you follow our link, it's marfooglenews.com/VPN. They have special discounts for the Foogle fam. Again, that is marfooglenews.com/VPN. And you can use it on multiple devices. So one account, and you can share it across your family and all your phones and your computers. So marfooglenews.com/VPN.
All right, thank you, Dex. And again, special savings with the code Marfoogle. Okay, and then one last article, and then we're going to be heading over to the phones, which Dex is, of course, taking the phone calls here. I don't know if we have any lines open, and it looks like we've got a lineup. So New Jersey announces first CV perished. New York deploys National Guard to New Rochelle. So this is something that kind of makes people nervous, especially when they do the National Guard to places. People are thinking, what's going on here? New Jersey has reported its first CV perished, a 69-year-old man from Bergen County, as New York unveils its most stringent measures yet to combat the surge in CV cases in Westchester County. It says the little fairy man hasn't been identified, but health officials said he has underlying conditions, including emphysema, hypertension, and diabetes. He has no travel nexus to high-risk countries, but did work in New York. So another thing about this is they say, this and that. there's different versions of this. There's different strains, and they say that Washington is the only one where there's now 5 versions. There's actually a SARS type version as well. So I guess it depends on which ones you get. If you have any kind of breathing problem or autoimmune, immune deficiency situation, then you should definitely be careful. Another thing is people aren't thinking about is maybe you get it, you're okay, but then you end up passing it on to somebody who's not. It is so easily transferable, and it lasts in the air. They're finding out new things about how long it lasts in the air. If somebody coughed, 10 minutes later you walk through a cloud, you shouldn't be able to get it, right? Well, apparently that's what they're saying. Now, if you guys want to follow me, if you want notifications other than this and you don't want to sign up for anything, you can, of course, go to marfooglenews.com. Also, while they're there, Type Girl and different people here, she's actually possibly participating in the giveaway. Obviously, she just did that during the show, so that's awesome. Again, if you do this, you will have a chance to get 3 EMP shields. So one for your car, one for your home, and then, of course, one for your solar system. Whatever you may be, whatever combination that you have, you'll be able to choose if you do win that. All right, and if you missed anything here, make sure to go to our website. All of the websites are there. All of our sponsors are over here. Of course, a lot of the things we don't actually push. Amazon.com, if you want to use our link, you can just click on that big box. If you buy stuff or if you're loading up on stuff, it will help support the channel if you do it through our link. All right, and with that being said, we're going to open up the phones. It looks like we have several people lined up. We've got a first-time caller up first. And then, actually, I'm going to show you guys the Twitter chart. I'm going to show you this chart of what I was talking about with the...
Hey, while you're pulling that up, Adam, I just want to add to the last article, the National Guard being rolled out. They're doing a couple of things. One is setting up a command post and setting up satellite testing, but there's also a 1 mile, 2-week containment area in the city of New Rochelle. So I don't know if they're literally using the National Guard to do actual containment of people, but they did say they're also going to help deliver food and do other things as well. But that's kind of interesting. That's a first significant notion that we've seen from authority in our country. We also saw an instance of this in California in one neighborhood.
So we have military. We have military partaking in this event.
Right.
Period. I mean, no matter, that's something that nobody wants to hear at all. So out of 329 million, we have 5 tests per million people. That's the worst ratio out of anybody here. We, of course, now I believe it's up to 5,000. But again, as of March 4th, what is that? 6 days, a week ago, they had tested 8,000 people and 66 were positive. Here they tested 189,000. How did they have so many tests there? China, 320,000, they say, right? 189 in South Korea. Out of that, look at the numbers. That doesn't, there. Outside of here, if you look at these numbers, not the greatest, not the greatest ratio. I'll just say that. Okay, and then let's see here. Up first, we have Puss in Boots. I'm going to go over to the chat. I want to thank a couple people. Let's see. All right. Queen Fisher RN, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Proud Grandma, Abraham NHD, MD Mom, Hussy Indiana, or Hussy Indiana, I think. I don't know. Thank you for following. Indrin, Hussy Indrin, thank you. Mini 70, thank you again for being on top. And then Grace for you too. I appreciate it. It looks like you've done at least a Ninja Guinea worth, so thank you so much. Pat Leading Fox, thank you for always being here and always supporting. I appreciate you. And then the Riot 72 and Jay Winch, thank you guys. And I will most likely pop in here as well. Well, we're on calls. Jaw Farm, Lee Leah Lou 333. Glad to see you on. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, let's head over and we're going to unmute Puss in Boots 907. You are live on Marfoogle News.
Hi, I wanted to say thank you for letting me talk tonight. And what I wanted to talk about was how I think I survived possible CV so far. And the Costco here in Anchorage is almost out of prep stuff. Most in Alaska prep just because shopping in 20 below is just hated, or we live 90 minutes away from any big stores. So shopping for months at a time or by the pallet is something we do on the norm as it is. So there's no panic here that I've noticed. People are typical meanies. I kid. There's some nice people. There was no 25-pound bags or bigger of rice, no bags of dry beans, no 48 packs of ramens. It's very low on the cans of tunas. You know, there was cup of ramens. Though it was kind of surprising. I'm unsure of other things such as cleaning supplies. This was about 5 days ago. Walmart did not have any cleaning supplies at all, and there was dust on the shelves, which is kind of weird. There were like the 12 packs of ramens, though. I did not see the dehydrated 3-pound cans by Augustin Firms, I think is the name brand of that one. On a side note, about 5 months ago, Walmart in Anchorage on A Street did end up with the police tower in the parking lot, which it had shocked me because I remember seeing the Walmarts in the lower 48 talking about having the police towers in their parking lots. Now, I'm no longer going in public thanks to the possible CV. I'm not offering any medical advice. I'm just going to talk about what I did recently. As soon as I got an inkling that I was getting sick, I took a fresh crushed garlic on a spoon and swallowed it like a pill. I drank fresh ginger and lemon tea several times a day. I would take 2 ginger and 1 cayenne pill every 4 to 6 hours. The cayenne hurt the intestines. However, it works like magic to keep my lungs clear and my sinuses. Now, I did try Mucinex and Dayquil, which seemed to not even help at all, and in fact seemed to hurt me worse. I did find a video about pink salt inhaler by Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube. I did not have a salt inhaler, but I did have pink salt, and what I did was I put a chunk of that sea salt in my CPAP machine mask, and I would use it for hours at a time, and it worked like magic to dry everything up. I also did a neti pot every few hours to keep my sinuses clear. Now, I've had colds and flus. However, this seemed really severe.
I was going to say, why did you think that this was CV? So I guess you're going into that right now.
Well, yeah. I think what really grabbed my attention was when I started getting to where the food wasn't digesting at all after 12 hours, and I had a distended stomach, and it was hurting, no gas though. And when I seen an article on the symptoms of the CV, and I seen the distended stomachs, or I don't know what the word was that was used, the pain, the stomach pain, and possible organ failures and stuff like that, it just kind of panicked me, because that's exactly what I had, was the painful, swollen stomach with no gas. I had the undigested food, yeah. So, yeah, that's what freaked me out. But that's what all I've done so far, and it has really helped. So, yeah.
Well,
that's what I wanted to talk about.
Let me ask you this: where do you think you would have gotten it? Because how many cases do you have there in Alaska?
There is 9, and I don't work. My husband, however, works at the airport. And they did bring in a few flights of, so I can't probably say more than that. So, yeah.
Okay, and it probably has to do with some of the flights that happened after this first thing, and it was kind of secretive and things like that?
They could be, yeah. I just don't want to get anyone in trouble.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
With my friend's company, the same thing. It's like they didn't want any negative press for the company, but at the same time, I feel like their company did an amazing job handling it and an amazing job helping the family and an amazing job doing all this. So later on, you're going to see these stories. The thing is people don't believe. They say, well, do you know anybody that knows anybody with it? I actually do, but I'm also in the hot zone, and it's becoming very apparent that not only is it real, it's affecting people that are not 90 years old. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to come to your town, and once it does, people will start believing, but they have to see it for themselves. That's how
Exactly.
bad our culture is now. We have to see it for ourselves now because we've been lied to our entire lives. And I don't blame people. So, I don't expect people to believe me. They can go out on their own, and once it comes to you, then it comes to you. Watching is voluntary. So, Puss in Boots 907,
Yes.
This was your first call. I hope it's not your last. I thank you for calling in. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Oh, gosh, no. I appreciate everything. And thank you, Dex, for putting me back on when I accidentally closed it out.
Oh, Dex
And
is awesome.
Thank you. You have a good night.
All right, you too. God bless. That was Puss in Boots, first-time caller. Again, hopefully it's not their last. And now we have Roy Jr. Let's see here. Roy Jr., you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam. How's it going?
And again, now you are AKA Amazing Montana Life. So what's going on here?
So I work construction, and I was on a job site with one of the heads of our county sanitation department. And I had a real interesting conversation with her. I asked her if she thought Montana would see the CV virus. And she looked at me and went, oh, yeah, we'll get cases for here, sure. And it'll be an epidemic here for sure. And I was like, oh, wow, you really think it's going to get that bad? And she's like, oh, yeah, for sure. We have a team that's been working on this for quite a while now.
And
I was
and I'm sorry,
like, well,
what state is this in again?
What's that?
What state is this in again?
Montana.
Oh, sorry about that. Continue.
No, you're good. And so I was like, well, what scares me is C Nation shut down 3/4 of their economy. And her eyes got like huge. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, so, I mean, should we be preparing? Is this something to really worry about? And she was real careful with how she worded everything. She's like, well, that's what we're trying to figure out. But I definitely would be prepared.
So as
she
of
obviously
yesterday, you did not have any confirmed cases yet, right? You're kind of the odd state out that actually doesn't have any yet. But what you're saying is that
we don't
saying
have
you're expecting it.
any yet. Yeah, we don't have any yet. And for her to be able to say, for sure we will get cases and for sure it'll be an epidemic here, she said they've been having tons of like board meetings on this. She said every state will get it for sure.
Well, they say it will be a communal thing like the flu. It's almost going to be an inside joke with Montana. It's like, nobody's going there. I don't even know how you don't have a confirmed case, but maybe they don't have tests yet. So it seems like this. So from the medical professionals that I've talked to so far, this is the case all around. Mm-hmm. We've heard that essentially every state, no matter if there is a case or not, is preparing for it as it is. Assuming that. So I don't find that too strange, but I do feel like this is going to hit every state. I think it will probably be another 10 to 14 days before we hear about all 50 states getting this.
Oh, okay.
So, by
yeah,
the way,
like I said,
is this junior or
she said
senior?
They've been having tons of meetings, and they have a special team that has been preparing for this for a while now. She said they're really trying to get prepared for this.
Yeah, no, and when it does hit, how is it in Montana though? Is it that's one state I've never been to. What is it? Do you guys have? I guess is it? Since I've never been there, I don't know the geographics of it. But isn't it kind of spread out? You've got obviously some landmarks there, but.
Oh yeah, our state is huge, but we really don't have that many people. We only have 1 million people here, and you could fit 3 Europes in the state of Montana.
That's crazy because we have 2 million.
Like
I think
the
in
toilet
Seattle.
paper crisis. The toilet paper crisis really hasn't hit here until this weekend, and then all the stores have been bought out now, and people are starting to prepare.
Well, see, that's the thing. I like I've said, I said, don't think your city is different. You guys don't even have a case yet, and of course, it's hitting you guys. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what's going on with this. Of course, with 1 million people across the entire state, we have half of your population in just the city of Seattle. So that's pretty crazy. Actually, no, we have almost your entire state's population just in the city of Seattle, and that doesn't include the entire state. I wonder, just comparing real quick, that's not a lot of people for that much, so I'm surprised they're preparing. We have 7.5 million. We have 7 times the population in our state than yours does, and it's actually a pretty big state. Well, Junior, is there anything else you would like to say, or is your pops isn't around, is he?
No, he's in bed. He's old.
Well, be careful and say hi to Senior. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
No, I just thought that was real interesting how we don't have a case here, but she said for sure we'll get it. So obviously they're not telling us everything. There's something. They're getting the states very prepared for it.
All right. Well, thank you for the information. Again, I believe you, and it doesn't surprise me though. Unfortunately, I think that this is something that they're in my opinion, and I've already heard, and I think there is something that's mainstream now, and I'm going to look into that again. I think Mrs. Marf, I think if you're a mod, you can actually post it. There was a story of the CDC essentially telling doctors not to say anything until they talked to the CDC. Might be something where they were trying to keep something, low and not cause panic because they didn't want panic. I don't know, but again, I think that there's mainstream stuff coming out that says, if there's proof that they're telling them to tell them first, then of course we're going to get secondhand knowledge after the fact, after they figure out how they want to, talk about it. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Junior, Roy Jr., aka Amazing Montana Life. Links for everybody will be on our website by the end of the show. Of course, this is a live call-in show, and as this is going, we are actually updating our website as the show progresses. Thank you so much, Roy. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, and let's see here. We've got up next Prepper Rabbit. Prepper Rabbit, you are live on Marfoogle News. You said you're worrying about using, quote, medical martial law, and who is in control? The CDC?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering who's really in control. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Calling from Tennessee, this is Prepper Rabbit.
Yes, sir, I am. I'm calling from the plateau. And in my area, to my knowledge, we don't have anybody with CV. But my concern is, as a prepper, if and when the CDC truly takes over, to what degree can they declare martial law? And I'm guessing they can lock the nation down for health reasons. And once we get locked down, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. And I think people should be aware of that.
One thing it says is that this is an article by Joel Ebert for the Nashville Tennessean, and it says Tennessee criticized for not releasing county-level CV cases. So I don't know how many cases you actually do have, or if you have any, but it looks like there might actually be some, but they're not talking about it. Yeah, Tennessee just confirmed today
I think
7 cases.
Inside the state, we've got 7.
Okay, so you did see that.
And that's what they're saying. Go ahead, sir.
No, it was up to you. So Tennessee did 7 hours ago put out that they have 7 confirmed cases. So you're saying that not every county is telling you, and you don't know exactly how much. And then also they're saying essentially they're not releasing all of the cases yet.
Well, like I'm a YouTuber. I've got a channel. On my channel, I don't do a lot of doom and gloom. I really don't. I try to stay away from that. But as sitting and watching this unfold, my concern is at some point the CDC, they'll give the power over to the CDC because that's what they do. And I'm afraid, like you say, there's states, they're using the National Guard. And once that happens, I'm afraid they're going to declare martial law. And once they declare martial law, of course, they'll mandate you stay home and all that. And it makes sense. And I think people will, in a sense, welcome martial law. But then after they get us all locked down, it might really turn out to be a nightmare. And I just wanted to share that with people, get them to think about that.
So actually, somebody agreed with you in the chat, said CV is a farce. It's all the end game is lockdown.
I think, you know what? Listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I think the end game is the 500 million people they want worldwide. Is what I think the end game is.
You're talking about something like the Georgia Guidestone type of thing.
Yeah. And but I'll tell you something. And I was listening to you the other night, and I tried to get on. Is that everybody's talking about? You can't get bleach, you can't get this, you can't get that. If you can't get it, go to the pool supply and buy shock for like your pool. You can make enough bleach to last you a lifetime.
Yeah, actually, that's any advice right now for some of the folks that are in some states. It's almost impossible to find anything that would sanitize or do anything like that. So, thank you for the advice. Now, Prepper Rabbit, is there anything else you would like to say? I know that it sounds like you tried to get in the other night. Is there one more thing that you want to say before you go?
Yeah, actually, I want to thank you for the last time I called you, I was a first-time caller, and you sent the love mob to my channel, and I wanted to thank you very much because that meant a lot to me. Because I don't have as many subs as PN1, but the bump I got, I do appreciate.
Oh, no problem. Well, we'll send him again tonight.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Prepper Ed is an awesome guy. We're again going to have him on. Now, Prepper Rabbit, I'm going to look up your channel real quick, and then we're going to send the love mob again. Hopefully, we can get you to 1,000, which has always been our goal for love mobs. Again, that makes it so you can actually be found in the algorithm. People think that the 1,000 and the monetized is just a because you can get money. That's not true. In fact, How to Marry a Polish Girl, he hit 1,000, but not only that, he just posted a thing and he made his first 10 cents. And I jokingly, he's like, I'm excited, not being sarcastic, about the first 10 cents. And it actually showed he made 10 cents. And I said, LOL, get used to it. But get this.
Yeah,
he can be found now. Because if you're not monetized, you will not be found. They made a decision in April of 18 to change their ways. So, again, if there's no ads on it, they're not really going to suggest it.
The one thing you do have to, so if you're going to Walmart or wherever you're going and there's dust on the shelf, I'm wondering if Walmart's not, if they're not stocking their shelves. They're causing the shortage.
Yep.
Because
other people think the
when
same
you got
thing.
the shelf, then you put stuff down on it, and you lift it up. Well, there ought to be clean underneath, and if it's just dust, they're not putting the product out.
Now, one more question. I've heard that before, and we actually had a caller the other night. Can I ask you, what were you at before we did our Love Mob?
Excuse me?
What were you at, subscriber-wise, before we did our Love Mob?
I think I bumped up about 300 subs, so whatever. So I don't know what I'm at now, but I'm not at 2,000. I think I'm at 1650 or 1550 or something like that.
Yeah, you are. Well, you guys, make sure to check out Prepper Rabbit 1. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, and please have a wonderful night, and be safe, and of course, be prepared.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. You have a good night, sir. Yeah, Prepper Rabbit, always a gentleman when he calls in. I believe that's his, yep, second call. Let's see. Gigina, you are live on Marfoogle TV. First-time caller, Gigina. Is that right?
It's G.I. Gina, Adam.
Oh, G.I. Gina. I love it. You just put some badassness in it. Okay.
That's okay. Hey, I just wanted to talk to people and say, hopefully that this will get a reprieve with the temperature. I've heard that this virus is temperature sensitive, and I'm hoping that it's like a flu, that we will get a reprieve. But I haven't heard reports as to what the temperature was in China or anything like that. Have you, Adam?
Now, if you're talking about it as far as I know that the president has said, maybe one day during summer it will just mysteriously vanish, and he's kind of hinting towards that it's just a seasonal flu type of thing. That I don't know, because of the things that are in it, the things that are in the RNA of it, or in the make of it. I don't know if this is, the thing is the flu goes year round. It's just in the cold seasons and things like this, it's more prevalent. So I don't know. They say it's going to be a communal all year thing. That's what they say, though. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not, again, I'm not a scientist or an expert, but I would think that they're canceling things out almost a year now. They're canceling things until July. They're canceling things in August, big events. So I don't know why they're planning for this to go through summer.
True. And we cannot look for reprieve. But also, I heard today that there may be a debt jubilee, and that there may be a reset in our monetary system. So I'm kind of concerned about that.
Now, so that is not a fact, but that is a theory that a bunch of people have, and they believe that this is being used, or this might happen to be kind of a global reset, a currency thing that would basically affect our entire world's currency, or the change over to one world currency. That again, it's not confirmed, but people think that.
Just a theory. And I guess that's secondary to coming down with this thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think that there's much we can do to confirm that. That's why I'm asking people to prepare, because either way, even if it wasn't, look at what's happening with the stock market, look at everything else. It's going to have temporary effects. Will it affect us long term? I don't think any of us really have the answer, but we should prepare for worst and hope for the best.
Yes, true. And also, I was going to say one more thing about South Korea. is doing drive-up testing, and I can't believe this is the United States of America and we can't get tests. This is ridiculous. It's just unbelievable.
Again, what she just said is South Korea is doing drive-up testing. So, like, you're going to get your Mickey D's, only it's a test for CV. That's pretty nuts.
And we can't even test. And I mean, I love T-Man. I hope that he makes himself more safe, but give us some drive-up testing, please.
Well, some people might be saying, they would be totally against that. I don't know. It's all opinion at this point. Well, G.I. Gina, I appreciate your call. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
I just want to say thank you, Adam, and to Dex, and to your family. Thanks for all you do, and have a good night. Be safe.
All right. Well, thank you, G.I. Gina. I appreciate it, and I hope you call in again, okay? First time, don't make it your last.
Okay, great. Thanks, Adam.
All righty. Have a good night. By the way, for my peeps, hold on here. This ever exits out. By the way, we're adding something to. We're trying to figure it out. We're gonna have a couple permanent people on the ticker down below. One of them is going to be Susan Donahue. Susan Donahue, thank you for your support last night. Just wanted you to know we're going to try to do something that's more permanent just because of the amount of times you've supported, and I really appreciate you. And I just, in general, I appreciate the information that you send and all the other stuff. I can't say thank you enough. Disciples Heart. Y'all, please watch the Day of the Lord Zechariah warning on my channel. It's before it's too late. We must be sober, vigilant, and hashtag be ready. Running with Scissors says, much love, my Foogle family. Hashtag Marfia. Running with Scissors again. Thank you. Love my Foogle fam. Leah Chase Holler. Love from Leah. Then we have Good Googly Moogly. Don't vacation in Santa Rosa County, Florida this spring, Blake. Our first case just perished last night. Melody Dawn, thank you so much. Thanks, Marf, for everything you do. Love, I would send more, but my whole paycheck went to supplies and electricity. I don't blame you, Melody Dawn, and like I said in the chat, this is something that should take priority over everything, at least until we know more. Blue Libra, Woman of Wonder, thank you both. Blue Libra, thank you for the $20 super sticker. I think it was like something, you are amazing, or I can't remember which one it was, but it was very cute. Thank you. And Woman of Wonder, thank you for the super sticker. For all of you guys that are supporting, I appreciate it, especially over on YouTube. It won't be long until we have normal running capacity over there. Of course, the D Live is going to be something that is actually a permanent thing, but it's also going to come back. We don't know. We're probably going to be doing 2 separate shows or 2 different kind of events. This being the more uncensored type thing. And again, our uncensored is like PG-13. But, there's certain filter words that we can't say over there, and I just don't know why. Over here, I guess, if you're watching the replay. Thank you guys for supporting, even the late night supporters. I know that, a lot of the times we're on later now. That's going to change as well. We're going to be getting on earlier and earlier over on YouTube. And then our exclusive D-Live show. If you're still holding out, D-Live is an amazing platform. It is not perfect. None of them are. But it is getting better by the day. They're trying to do a lot of different changes. In fact, they just made some changes to the partners and global partners. So hopefully those changes will help in the end. You've got a really good staff over here. You've got really good people in general. So just make sure to come over. And if you're a creator, especially there, so get in the Creators Corner. We're all going to come over at once. You can be a part of that. And then Jaybird42, thank you. I appreciate that. Carrie Ray, thank you for the diamond prayers for all the Foogle fam. CJ Blaze, love ya. New Creations in Christ says, when this first started, I woke up with a dream that Jesus was opening the seals of the black horse, no food, death, then our white robes and rest. Ooh, creepy. I've had some weird dreams lately too. Mini70, thank you again for being the top contributor tonight up until now. And then grace for you too. I appreciate you. That's seriously appreciated for you being number 2. Tower Bear is now number 3. Thank you. Equivalent of a Ninja Genie. Thank you. Appreciate that. Pat Leading Fox. Either way, you're tied actually. And then the Riot 72. Pat Leading Fox, thank you for continued support. I can't say enough about that. And then all time is Pat Leading Fox. Jeez. Lady GT476 is number 2 in the all time. Sweet Melissa is number 3. Thank you, Sweet Melissa. And thank you for being here most of the time. I do see, I notice when people are here and when they're not. I appreciate it. Dr. Neil is number 4. I didn't even get to you when you did do that, so thank you. And then Jimmy Lin, if you are here, I love you. Thank you so much for all of your guys' support. Let's see here. And I want everybody to make sure to go to marfooglenews.com to check all this stuff out. Dr. Neil tonight is here. I've been having nightmares, Adam. As far as like the nightmares thing, I did not have dreams for about a good 10 years, and I've had them a lot lately. I had a lot of nightmares when I was in my early 20s, and when I was 19, I had one of the most realistic end-of-the-world dreams ever, and it's actually why I got the Armageddon tattoo on my wrist. It was just a weird dream in general. It says, let's see here. Patty 1970, thank you. I appreciate you. Karen Winteman, thank you. King Cuts, thank you. Hotwired Barb, Barefoot Lass. All of you guys are awesome. Soft Nose, Queen Fisher RN. I appreciate all of you. Phil Bailey from YouTube, good job modding. All of my mods, thank you guys. I appreciate it. On YouTube and on DLive, everybody is amazing. The community over here is amazing. Please try to stop by and stay with it and go support some other creators. It might look like it's all gamers and things. There's chatters. There's all sorts of folks. Let's see here. And Deaf Mike is talking about CRISPR. So go with Deaf Mike.
Sounds good, Adam.
All right. And then, yeah, love you guys. I appreciate you. And I can't say enough thank yous. Stay safe. Boom.
Uncensored, and we rip it absurd. 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 Uncensored, and we rip it absurd.
To all my DLive peeps, I love ya. To all my DLive babies, I love ya. Jordan, Shane XCS, Earth Pond, and Wolf. We've got Blue Rose 55, Ari Kelly, and Queen Fisher RN.
You want to know what's going on?
False alarm and get on with it. And Lisa Curry 52. Bird Banger, Stripe 1000, and the rest of the crew. This is for all my boys and girls out there grinding away on the stream. Only on D-Live. Uncensored and we rip it absurd. 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 I think it's a cow. 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 Only on D-Live. Only on D-Live. It's a cow. I think 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 it's a cow. Only on D-Live. Only on D-Live. I think it's a cow. 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 D-Live. 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 I think it's a cow. This is for all my peeps out there grinding to get them hours on that stream. This is D-Live. I think it's a cow. I think it's a cow. I think it's a cow. D-Live. I think it's a cow. Uncensored and we rip it absurd. Uncensored and we rip it absurd. Uncensored and we rip it absurd. One of the only places left on earth that you can say your mind. It's D-Live. We rip it absurd. Uncensored and 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 we rip it absurd. D-Live. D-Live. Gonna rock it all the way down. It's D-Live. I think it's a cow. 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 Absurd and we rip it absurd. Uncensored 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 and we rip it absurd. Feed the haters to the alligators. Your way or the highway, see you later. B.O.D. is the homie and Mr. Vader. If it wasn't for you, I would never made it. Whole city's covered by the clean made it. Now they listen to what we were saying. Doesn't matter if the manufacturer or created. Put now, put later, responsibility and underrated. They just won't tell you. Till the cities like the bricks they be laying. Twitter that's is now displaying. School shut down and they just ain't playing. People panicking, freezing like a mannequin. This we be smashing them. Bibliography is bagging them. Carol R. Channel Jammer, One Wascally Wabbit, Proud Grandma, and Hotwired Barb. You are the luckiest followers. No point to robo platinum. Google family in action, eventually amassing in another class. And may you just say, Annie, are we okay? May I just say, Annie, are we okay? All about the Marfoogle fam. All we ask is you make a plan. Thank you, Pat Leading Fox. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Adam, Dex, and Mods. Thank you, Pat Leading Fox. You are still number one.
D-Live, 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 D-Live. Hey, gonna buy all day. Got Stormy 7552, Shastina and the Wizard Crew. Kapuscinski and Ostuo, Earthworm Jim and Karma is here. PHX Breeze got the Jim, Susan Netlickis and Yabba Dabba. Hey, got Channel Gemma, Bono Go Get Bama, Oko Loco 43, and the rest of them crow. No, need no do. I'm gonna bring it back to you. Casper Sparks, Kim Nerd Tyler, and Jay Bird J, and Jay Bird Bird. We've got the family here, they follow wherever we go. They love the pat leading foxes of the crew, and we never know. You've got the Arthur and Jill, and that's all the Mercy. You've got the ambition, you've got the Georgia. I like me for me. 1, 2, 3, gotta see, it's all crazy. Jay-Z. From New Mex 1, Waska, Lee Wabbit, K. Kathy, Karma is here. Jonathan Esparza, gonna bring it down and darker. All the lights, and now we go to shade. It's gonna be the Carolyn Love and the Mrs. Paul B. Lost Wanderer, J Stone, Karma is here. Jam, more cowbell. Ding 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 ding. J.R. Pale Horse and the Orbit 777 LOL. Linda Way and my DM Dragon Girly. Voila, Minnesota Man, Stephen Diaz and the Barefoot Lass. Earthworm Jim J.K. Half J.K. Half. We're gonna have a blast tonight, Mrs. Marf, and the only remedy is more cowbell. A stewer. Gotta be quick enough. Bring it back down to the gym, baby. Got the gates on 78. Cowbell, cowbell, on the board with the ticker wall, going back down. Ticker wall, down, ticker wall, down, Charlie, ain't the dragon gonna get more. Taylor, up you get. Never gonna go back there. With the kids this and feel my walk up to the music. Gonna go walk and we gave them crazy. Get that day off your heart going down. You too, Mrs. Moore. Bring it with the KK bar. Go back now when the camera go on this thing to bring it back. And then we got time. It's all of us. It's growing. It's family. It's sugar. All day. All day.
ABC. Dabba dabba sexy, sweet rims. Barefoot last earthworm dead. Gonna go back, now we get. We family and now we doing it. Gonna bring back and now we showing it. Oh, get it. Proud grandma. Jim Jim. I'm a space cadet too. Bring it back down, now we do.
He says I sound evil. Gotta bring that duck chorus. Gonna bring that check while I'm gonna post a Facebook. Gonna bring it all the way down. It's gotta be that woman named me Tiffany R. Peace and love, good speed. Ho! Godspeed. Sunshine be and the check. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, yeah. You've got the days on 7 days. Gonna speed it up and bring it all back to space. Bad Billy Buck got the king cuts, carrying the law, and everybody already know. Got the J.R. Pale Horse and that checker wall, gonna bring it back. Curly Q in 1971, gonna do what they do. Got that Mrs. Marvin Shastina, gonna bring it back. Going so fast, spinning in circles, gonna go back and bar. Hey, going back to Mrs. Marvin, maybe one day we'll do one of those collabs and they will all say it flew. Oh, this ain't just no flu. This ain't no flu. This ain't no flu. Bring it back up again. Have a GMS. Don't sit around and say. I am a Marfoogle, you are a Marfoogle, we are a Marfoogle, so let's go Marfoogle.
Special shout out to all my peeps out there Chance Paladin. Make sure to check him out. He writes books on his stream. Make sure to check out Packy, Wacky, Tacky. I can't talk now. Got that. Gonna bring it back. Stefan, Diaz. Gonna bring it back now. 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 To the JA Farms and the Optimals. And bring it back now like we bobbing it. Oh, now we got all the way down. Carmen is here with the JMB 53. Oxley Sun, did I miss a chance? Gotta be West, gotta go wild. Jimmy Press, LMAO, one love, yes, yup. Uh-oh, now we getting funky. One last one for my peeps over at my most beloved, all words that lead up to I left you hanging. Oh, let's get that funk on Lindsay Bay. You gonna love the way that we do. Alamagazoom gonna bring you back the shoes. It's those red ones on the street with them do. Dragon Gurley, JR Pale Horse with the MarfCon 2020. It's been canceled because of the CV. Sorry about that. Now we've got Dragon Girly in the house. We've got no new name. What is going on here? If you are here and you're only watching like Central Florida Prepper, you better hop in. Never gonna walk down nice with the tunage. Gonna bring it back now. We booming just like this with my Marfoogle fam. Thank you for those who support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all them thumbs up. It takes us a lot of time to put this show together. But then those who know, they already say it's all go. It's all down until we go all our separate ways. Because we've got to do what we do, all without CJ Blaze. and set one of those precedents, then you might wanna grab your friend. I'm a space cadet. You don't give a bad Billy Buck. You thought I was gonna say it? Not much to say, but he says what he means. It's Dex J. Much love to all the rest of you, and that's all we're gonna say. We had a blast, barefoot lass, got to teach his class. But when it comes down to it, Abba G and Yabba Dabba Sex got a backs. Miss Marfoogle is the sarcastic one in the family. Because we've got people like Latin Guy in LDC. Look up the Assumption song, you won't be sorry. They say I can't chat cause your mods barred me. But that's cause you got 3 chances and Frosty Flakes. You demand liberty, 333 Crow 23. Hold up. Liberty 333, I love you. That's my sis. Hello, sister. Nice of you to come. She is to be treated as a VIP. She doesn't even have a mafia badge. Unfortunately, I can't give out my own badges, but Liberty 333, you are my love, my sis. I appreciate you. Crow 23 and that 333. We've got that beefy beef with that Seattle Steve. No, I'm just playing. Yo, I'm just playing. We checking on you, check a while. Gonna bring it back and use that wah wah. Running out of things to say. Oh, I got to go. Thank you, Chance of Paladin, for giving my sister a moppy bath. They already did it, but it's okay. We'll be back tomorrow. Drunk and charming and yah-yah and bad Billy Buck. Thanks to Jalen and the crew and that one love. Jakey Hath and Peachy 10, 93 the family. All right, now you all be good. You make sure to show love to whoever we host. And the next up, that's gonna be Surrey Def Mike. That's a plan, Minnesota man, and you go support. The next one, me after me, and thank you, Liberty. 333 gonna see, oh, well, self both over two. Go say I do, Def Mike, I think you'd get along just fine. Johnny and the Bowser and the rest of this, and it don't even rhyme.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle fam is waiting for you.
Just wanted to say one last what's up. Afflicted Patriot, you refugee, the Savior, Crystal Virgo, and Channel Jammer.